This is Cashier King, and welcome to the Sports Goombahs Presents Fantasy Football Wednesday. Tonight's show is brought to you by Castle Public Adjusters. Get an edge on your insurance company. Avoid the hassle. Just call Castle, 215-752-1237, or check them out at castlepa.com. Also by Graph FX Screen Printing. Call 267-789-5491 for all your screen printing needs. Now, here's your host, Mikey the Wall.
It is the Wednesday. This is the Sports Goombahs presents the SG Fantasy Football Show. I'm your host, Mikey the Wall. Got a little guest here today for you.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. I love fantasy football, and I'm real excited that you invited me tonight. I can't wait to talk some football with you.
I picked this guy off the street, Driggins, due to a little scheduling conflict, unfortunately. Actually, I don't think it was a scheduling conflict. I think it was he was embarrassed to talk about his draft.
Wow. Is it that bad?
It was bad. I mean, I can get into it later to make fun of him a little bit, but we're here tonight. We're talking about drafts. We're 8 days away from the kickoff of what we've all been waiting for.
Right.
So hopefully you drafted last weekend, or maybe you're drafting this weekend. So we're here to talk about our strategy, what we did, or what you can do this weekend. Hopefully you weren't one of those stupid people who drafted like the first week of August.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I was in a couple of drafts this weekend with people who, I had my draft August 4th, and I drafted Jordy Nelson and Kelvin and
right. Well, that's what you get for prematurely drafting. You got to wait.
You have to wait. There's no. I mean, I know we all get excited. We all want to do it as quickly as possible. You can do 1,000 mocks. I did.
Yeah, me too.
It's just you go to the ESPN or Yahoo, whatever it is, do your mocks, get your fix, but don't do the real thing. That's idiotic.
Guys get injured in minicamp.
It's literally happened every year.
Yeah, and guys are gonna take other people's starting spots. So why blow a draft and go early? You just gotta wait.
Yeah. So that's what we're here for. We're here to guide you if you haven't had a draft, or if you have had a draft, just give us a call and talk about it. I want to hear what you got. I want to hear if you're better than me. It's probably not gonna be better than my team.
Really?
I'm ecstatic by my team. Now,
really?
You had your draft of the weekend?
I had my draft last night, actually, so I'm still coming down from my high.
Nice Monday night draft.
Yeah, it was great. I was really looking forward to it. This is actually my favorite draft. I'm in 3, so
myself as well.
I was most excited about this one. I've been in for about 6 years now. 12-man. They actually made it a half-point PPR this year, which
was it? Is that a step back, or is that adding to it? Was it always half?
No, it was never PPR till this year.
Oh,
so they added.
That's rough.
We just went up to a half point, which I actually like. I enjoy
you should
PPR.
Like. Yeah.
So it's a 12-team, $100 entry, and I think I had a great draft. So we'll see.
Let's hear
think.
it. What do you got?
Right.
What pick did you have?
I started off with the 3 pick, and I didn't.
Not the year to have an early pick.
No, I didn't.
Definitely not the year.
I didn't want a top 5 pick. I was hoping for something in the middle to late rounds. So when I see myself at 3, I was kind of.
Did you know ahead of time, or you kind of walked in and just drew straws?
I logged in like 10 minutes before the draft.
Oh, online.
Yeah, online draft.
Makes sense for a Monday draft.
Yeah, we used to do a live draft, but it got too hard for everyone to show up together. Yeah. So we went low. We're online now, and I see myself at number 3, and I get nervous because I don't know what I should do. So it comes off the board is AP at 1, Le'Veon Bell went 2. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at Eddie Lacy,
consensus,
Charles, possibly Antonio Brown, considering a PPR, but I went with Eddie Lacy with my first pick.
Very safe. Now, if you've been watching, and I'm sure you guys have been, who are watching now, and again, if you ever want to give us a call, by the way, chime in with your team and your thoughts. You can reach us at 267-563-2893. It's 267-563-2893. Let us know what you think about our teams. Tell us about your teams. We want to hear about it. Now, yeah, you said you went Lacy at number 3. Right. Which is that's what I would have done.
Okay, and the reason why that was because Jordy Nelson goes down, like you said earlier. I think that actually helps out Lacy. I think he gets more workload, and he does catch some balls. I think he had about 40 receptions last year.
Yeah, I think people kind of underrate him because he's a big guy.
You don't think of him.
They don't think of him as a patch kid. He's not a Le'Veon Bell type. I mean, but he's not like a Peterson type. Peterson catches like 5 a year.
Right. Yeah, he actually does catch some balls, and I think he's going to get more action with Nelson out. I think Rodgers is going to rely on him, so I think he was pretty safe there at 3.
Now, I've been pretty vocal about my disapproval of Jamal Charles. Did that cross your mind?
I actually thought about that because I remember you talking to me about your little Charles Buston.
My anti-Charles rant.
Yeah, Buston was in the back of my mind as I looked at Charles, and it was between Charles and Lacy, and I went Lacy ultimately.
Safe pick. What'd you follow that up with?
Next round, it came back around to me, and at the time, I didn't even think about taking being Lacy being a Packer, but I just looked at Randall Cobb and I see that he's clear-cut best receiver on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson's out. He has the best quarterback, arguably Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. I went Randall Cobb with my second pick. Afterwards, I kind of thought, should I have taken 2 Packers? But I don't know what you think about that.
I don't know. I never can take that into consideration. I know there's some people out there where they stay clear of teammates or similar bye weeks.
Right.
I've always been under the theory of don't even look at bye week. I mean, it's not like some people legit will they'll map their draft. Oh, I can't get this guy. He's got the same bye week. Don't even look at him because what's the worst case scenario? They all have the same bye week. Well, you know what? You take it on the chin for 1 week,
right? And
then for 12, 13 of the weeks, you had your entire roster.
Yeah, I don't mind bye weeks.
I go the other way. If I have debating between 2 guys, I'll go for the guy who has bye weeks,
right?
Just so I can say, I mean,
get out of the way.
Yeah, get that loss out of the way. Score your 90 points, take your loss, and then come back next week full strength. I do want to ask you about your league. Your league, your draft. When going into it, did you have any set strategy for it, or is this kind of just variable?
I have a similar strategy for all drafts. I mean, PPR, non-PPR changes that obviously, but most of mine are PPR this year. So in these drafts, my strategy is to wait on quarterback. I don't want to go quarterback early. I feel like there's depth at the position. You can get a good guy late. So that's basically what I did. I went quarterback late, and running back and receiver, I just go best available pretty much. I'm not set on anyone. I got to see who's there because every draft's different. You just got to see how it falls.
See, my theory on quarterbacks, it's the Ricky Bobby theory. If you're not first, you're last. Okay. So if you're not getting Luck and you're not getting Rodgers, hold off. Go 9 rounds later and just grab. I'm trying to see who went that late in my drafts. The Romos, the Bradys, the Matt Ryans, those kind of guys.
Right.
So I mean, there's no reason somebody I'm looking at my league draft now, but Russell Wilson in the 5th. I don't agree with that. I don't see the reason for that because he's not a top tier guy. Then again, he's not. You don't wait till if there's still guys you're passing on. There's still Latavius Murray's and Keenan Allen's and Julian Edelman's that you're passing on.
Right. Yeah. There's so much depth at receiver and running back. Not much depth at running back, but there's so many positional players that you want to stack even on your bench because as the course of the season goes, you're going to have bye weeks. You're going to have guys who get injured, and I'd rather have depth on my bench than go after a quarterback early and sacrifice that maybe 4th, 5th round pick.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. So when it comes to skill position reserve players, you just want to throw as much shit against the wall as you can. Get as many guys who could possibly be good. If one of them pans out, you got yourself a steal in the 7th, 8th round. What'd you follow up with in the next round?
Okay, so the next 2 rounds, I went receiver, considering this is a PPR.
Yeah.
We only start 2 receivers, 2 running backs, but we have a flex. So my strategy was to put a receiver in the flex position. So my next 2 picks were Brandon Cooks in the 3rd, which I thought might have been a little stretch, but I didn't think he would make it back or too much farther. So I didn't really like him a lot this year.
Well, picking 3rd, you're picking early 3rd. So you're not picking again. So you're not getting him late 4.
Yeah, I knew I didn't have a
shot. So if you wanted him, grab him. And I was smart. Actually, looking at my draft, he went first pick of the 3rd round.
Okay.
I've got a caller. Hey, welcome to the fantasy show. What can I do for you?
Yeah, that guy next to you drafted Teddy the Barbarian Bridgewater as his quarterback.
Okay,
this
yeah.
Guy's up here giving us advice on fantasy. He drafted Teddy Bridgewater as
Is this true?
Starting QB.
His allegations are true. Now this
man,
this guy we're talking to.
You want to wait? You might as well. You might as well draft the quarterback in the 16th round. Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, come on.
See, you didn't go full school. You didn't tell me it was Bridgewater.
Listen, we didn't get to that part of my roster
of course
yet.
He didn't tell you it was Teddy Bridgewater.
I was going to get to that at the end.
And the guy last week, he's talking about Eli Manning at 3.
Awful.
Where are these fantasy analysts coming from?
That's what they're here. They're here to make me look better.
Yeah, listen, I can defend my.
You look like the pro. Yeah, exactly. Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, first of all, let me preface
defend your pick.
I can defend my pick. I didn't want to get to that yet because we were only in the 3rd round. He jumped ahead a little bit. But listen, I believe Teddy Bridgewater, with AP coming back, he has a deep threat in Charles Johnson. I think he's going to step up. If you look what he did over the last 6 games last year, his stats were impressive. 2nd-year quarterback. He's young. I think Teddy Bridgewater is highly underrated, and he's a sleeper that you want to target in the late rounds, just like
as a backup.
Okay, that's okay. But if you're going to take him as a starter, like I did, You have to combo him with someone else, and I got another quarterback that I like as a late round sleeper.
And who's
that's
this?
Carson Palmer.
Oh man!
I knew you guys were going to kill me for this, but that's fine. We're going to come back in December. We're going to.
You better have some stacked running backs receivers.
Yeah.
That's why he was rated the 7th worst team in the league, and they pretty much smashed his ratings.
We drafted on Yahoo, and Yahoo likes to give you.
Yeah, it gives you. I like that.
Right, they give me a draft grade. My overall grade was a B. Everyone had a B except for 3 teams were a B minus.
Yeah, they're way too lenient on that. I've seen that.
Right, so everyone was pretty close, but I guess they didn't like my picks at quarterback. But hey, I believe in them, and I think they're going to step up this year.
Now, who is your quarterback? I want to hear who you got.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I got Eli, I think, around the 8th.
There you go. That's the kind of pick I'm talking about.
Right.
Wait till the end, but he's still starting.
We both waited to the end.
Yeah.
And I was going to actually draft Romo. He went right before me.
Yeah, but you didn't wait till the apparent, the 17th round like Pat did.
Well, see, what happened was right before I was going to take the guy I wanted, which was Ryan Tannehill, he got taken a couple picks before me.
Tannehill.
And at that point, my strategy kind of got busted a little bit. But at the same time, I'm not too worried. I think Bridgewater.
And you said you're in a 12-team league?
This is 12.
This is not like an 18-team league?
No, there was a lot of guys going 2 quarterbacks early, which kind of surprised me. So
they did. They actually did go. They went real quick on them. You know what I mean? Everyone went back up. And when he was supposed to draft the starter, he was
that's weird.
At the top of the round.
Yeah,
coming back 18, 19 picks, it was too late.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, and I kind of got caught with my hand in the cookie jar there, trying to take too many running backs and too many receivers.
Pay for it with Teddy Bridgewater.
That's fine. We'll see.
It's going to teach you a lesson for next year. You might want to target one in the 6th round.
He'll learn.
Yeah, next year I'm taking Andrew Luck in the first
round. This will be a
round.
long year for him. A long year of 11-point outings from his quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey, the rest of my team is so good, we don't have to worry about that.
No, we'll hear about that.
Well, then you're going to have to trade your 1st round pick for a quarterback to help you out.
All right, I'll consider that. Let me know who you got on your bench.
All right, buddy.
Good talk, man.
All right,
good talk. Thanks for the call. Ooh, he just blew your spot up.
Yeah, that's actually my boss. Actually, I work for him, and
I would fire you.
Well, he actually threatened to fire me because if I took Antonio Brown, and it came in the draft where I had 3 and he had 4. Now I'm looking at Antonio Brown, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, is my job worth Antonio Brown?
Now, did he at least step up and take Brown?
He did took Brown at number 4.
So he's a smart man.
He did.
No wonder he's the boss and you're the employee.
Exactly. He got the brains, and I don't really have much brawn, but I don't know why. I guess just because we're friends, he keeps me employed.
That's nice of him.
Yeah.
That's nice. A nice little charity he's running over there.
Right. So, since you jumped ahead, we already know who my quarterbacks are.
All right.
Bridgewater and Palmer. You seem not too happy about
No, I'm not happy about that, to be honest.
Okay. Well,
if this was 2006 Palmer, you've got a phenomenal team shaping up.
A bunch of ACL tears.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let you evaluate the rest of my team and then look at it.
I'll try not to judge it off that, but let's go.
Okay. So we start off, like I said, we got Lacey, we got Cobb, we have Brandon Cooks in the 3rd.
Like Cooks.
And then I came back in the 4th round. I took another receiver from my flex. I went Golden Tate.
Oh man, you must not have been watching you must not have been going off my rankings because I'm not a Tate guy. I think Tate had overinflated stats because he was by himself without Calvin. If Calvin goes down, phenomenal pick. I'll give you that again.
Yeah,
I'm praying Calvin doesn't go down because I do have him. But
I think either way, I think he gets a lot of targets. Whether Calvin,
there's really no one else to go to up there other than those 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a good player. I don't think he just got his stats because Calvin was out. I think he'll show this year that Stafford throws the ball enough. There's enough balls to go around, I think. Okay, so after I picked him, I think I did a little stretch here, and I took
some running backs, please.
No, I did take a running back next. I went Chris Ivory. Now, Chris Ivory, tell me what you think about Chris Ivory. I think you're hating my team so far. I don't like.
I'm not a fan of it.
Negativity.
I mean, I'm not gonna straight up bash it, but I'm not a huge fan. But let's go. Okay, I do like Cooks though. I think that was a great pick.
Okay, Chris Ivory. I know he's not on a great offense, but he gets a lot of touches, and he's going to get a lot of goal line work. And at that point in the draft, in the 5th round, you got to realize there's not much.
No, I know running backs, they got ugly quick.
Yeah, it gets ugly. So I think I was looking at either an Ivory or some other younger running backs like the rookies, Yeldon, stuff like that. So I felt like I went with the guy who I know is going to get a workload. He is the
and he's unquestioned number 1. So I don't completely hate Chris Ivory because Chris Ivory had some shady good games last year.
Yeah, I mean,
he was always that guy where you're going up against somebody who's starting Chris Ivory. You're like, yes, he's starting Chris Ivory. Right, yeah. And then he ran for 110 and a touchdown. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, he's either going to do something great or the Jets are going to score no points. So.
Yeah.
Okay, after that, I went back to the receiver position, actually, and I went after a young rookie who I love a lot, and I hope you do too, is Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, huge fan.
You love him.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Finally, I got to pick you like him.
I love Aguilar. I mean, where he went in a couple of my drafts, because I mean, granted, we're in a Philadelphia area, so he tends to be overvalued sometimes. Although maybe sometimes people don't want to be the homer and they pass. But yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna be in the 1,000-yard conversation.
Yeah, I think easily. Just from what I've seen from him in the preseason, he looks like he understands the offense. He looks like he can step right in and make an impact. And honestly, I think Jordan Matthews is getting drafted way too high. I mean, I understand Chip Kelly is going to use Matthews, and I think he is going to be a great player. But I think the ball is going to get spread around so much between the running backs, the tight end, and I just don't see Matthews being worth as high of a pick. He's taken.
I mean, you could say in my league he went fourth pick of the third round.
Yeah, I think that's
far
too high for him.
I think he's gonna have a great year too. But again, I mean, some of the guys he went over Randall Cobb. He went over Emmanuel Sanders, DeAndre Hopkins. These are all guys I would probably take over Matthews. But I do think Matthews gonna have a good year. I do think obviously he's being a little overvalued.
Okay.
But I love the Aguilar pick.
Okay, great. After that, I think I went tight end next. I'm not sure exactly which rounds we were going in, but I was looking at Zach Ertz, who I love. But
Fair.
he is nursing an injury right now. He hasn't practiced. He hasn't played. I think he's going to have a great year, but I'm still a little iffy on the injury, so I went a little more safe pick, which I would hate to admit this, but I went Jason Witten. And the reason why I picked Witten is because if you look at his targets over the last 3 years, they're all over 100, except for last season he had 90. And I think that was because they pounded Murray so often.
Which isn't going to happen this
year.
With
Murray off the team, I think Witten's targets, score over 100 with Romo that's his boy, I think,
Yeah, I think with Witten, it's a safe pick. I mean, there's no high upside for, 100 catches or 90 catches like that. But like you said, it's Witten.
Right.
He's Mr. Consistency, other than they said targets dropping. But like you said, it's because they were just running.
Right.
And again, outside of Dez, there's really no other targets out there.
No.
And I don't think they're going to give the running backs 400, 500 carries again this year.
Yeah, and tight ends kind of went quick last night in the draft. He was the top-ranked tight end. I think the top 5 guys were gone. I think Yahoo had him at number 6. So it was either him or Ertz. And if Ertz wasn't injured, it would have been a no-brainer. But I just wanted to, keep consistency, and I didn't want to take too many risks.
Now, we did get a tweet here. You can follow us and tweet us at Sports Goombahs on Twitter. I got a tweet from @Stoney096. He said, geez, where do you find these guys at? Golden Tate, Chris Ivory. So again, I'm not the only one.
That's fine. We're gonna see when people are gonna pass up Tate this year, and they're gonna pass up Ivory, and they're gonna look back and they're gonna be like, wow, he's a genius.
Big mistake.
He's a genius. I'm gonna start following him.
I hope you're right. For your sake and being a friend, I'm hoping you're right.
I do too. I really want to win some money this year. So after this, I don't know the order of these picks. I'll just throw some names
out there.
My bench.
I'll give you thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, we'll see what you think. We have Freeman, the running back in Atlanta. He's the starter for now. I know there's a rookie behind him, but he's a late running back.
I think they're more side by side than they are in front and behind.
Right. He's a late running back. I stashed on my bench. David Johnson.
I do like David Johnson.
Rookie in Arizona. He's on my bench.
I'm a David Johnson guy.
I got Roy Halou Jr. stashed on the bench.
Never a Raider fan, but he obviously beat out Trent Richardson, who was just cut.
Well, yeah, Trent Richardson is cut, and Latavius Murray. Yeah, everyone's high on him. He's the big name.
But yeah, I think he has like 85 career carries.
He's so unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, he could go down. Roy Halou could be step right in, and I picked him
and get 9 carries a game when they lose by 40.
Right. Another late round pick, a receiver. I took Perryman for Baltimore. Right now he's nursing a little bit of an injury, but Baltimore has nobody to throw the ball.
No, they don't.
Besides Forsett.
But the thing is, they like to do it though.
Yeah,
so someone will catch the ball as long as he's healthy. I know they'd say he's more like a project guy. He's a big guy, fast guy.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
I think he has potential.
And again, like I said, I'm in a 12-team league as well. I'm in 3 leagues. 2 of my 12-team leagues.
Right. And
it gets thin quick.
Yeah.
So when you're throwing guys like this, I would rather you be throwing this name at me than saying, yeah, I went, Steve Smith Sr.
Right. Yeah.
And Anquan Bolden.
Yeah, just because they're the top ranked guys, that doesn't mean I'm going
to. Yeah, I don't want to hear those names being said.
On Yahoo's rankings, and people got to realize, listen, this, like you said, 12-team leagues are deep. Okay, if it's not a 10-team league, and if you 10-team boys out there, you're just drafting all stars and Pro Bowlers.
I can't really comment because I'm the commissioner of the 110-team league I'm in, but we've been a 10 team for like 10 years.
That's fine and it's fun, but you can't judge a 12 team or
No, you can't.
anything like a 10 because everybody has a good team in the 10 team league.
Yeah.
It's just who gets luckiest with injuries and scheduling and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So after Perryman, my last pick actually overall was Cecil Shorts, who's the second receiver in Houston behind Hopkins.
Yeah.
And if you watched Shorts in Jacksonville, you realized he has some talent.
Mm-hmm.
He gets targets and he can catch the ball. He just never had a quarterback to throw
No,
the
never
ball.
had a quarterback, never had a anything around him
Right.
really.
He's playing on a terrible team. In Houston, I think he'll benefit from a little more talent around him, and he's the last pick.
Well, he steps in the role that last year DeAndre Hopkins was. The Hopkins is the new Johnson. He
Right.
could be the new Hopkins.
Yeah.
Hopkins had, I think, 1,200 yards last year.
Yeah,
Obviously, I don't think that out of Cecil Shorts, but yeah, as long and again, health is a concern. I mean, overall.
We didn't get my defense yet.
Oh, I don't care, but it's scary.
Yeah, my defense is Denver, just so it doesn't matter. Defense and Tucker for the kicker for Baltimore.
I have Tucker.
So go ahead, rip me apart. I no holds barred.
All right.
You hit my team, that's fine. Let me.
All right, this is what I do here. Granted, I haven't won a league in 3 years, so bear with me. Although the last team I did win with was absolutely stacked. I'm always in the playoffs. I'm always right around there. I get screwed a lot. Quarterback, obviously, I don't love whatsoever. I mean, when you have Lacey, I like Lacey. I do like. In a 12 team, I'll be. I don't like Ivory. I don't want to say I like Ivory, but I'm okay with it. I'm not going to bash you with that. I like the receivers. Like I said, I'm actually a huge Cooks fan this year.
Right.
A lot. So I think even getting him in the third round, because you're in a 12, so it's more like, it's like almost fourth round in a 10.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he went first pick in the third, my 10 man.
Yeah, he's going high.
Cooks is a great pick.
Okay.
Overall, yeah, I mean, the tight end's consistent. And again, I obviously have to see other teams, but I do like it.
Okay.
Overall, I mean, I don't think you're
I
gonna.
got some potential.
If Bridgewater can be as good as you think he can be,
right?
Then yeah, you'll be in the playoffs.
Well, it's not just Bridgewater. I like Palmer too. I think if you look what he's doing,
he had a great year before the injury.
Right. I mean, I don't expect him to come in and be Peyton Manning at 40 years old, but if he comes back and he's somewhat good at what he did last year, I think if I can flip them both in and out based on
matchups,
and the matchups, I think I could get decent.
Now I do have, and this is my bold prediction for your team. I do think by the end of the season, you can or will possibly be starting David Johnson. I think it's very possible.
I think so, 100%. And I was
I don't see Ellington lasting for a full year.
No.
Chris John, it's not even CJ 2K, it's CJ like 500 at this point,
right?
At best. So I think David Johnson will eventually take that job.
And that's the kind of guys that were sitting there when I took Ivory at the time. A guy like Ellington.
Yeah, and they're not sexy guys.
Yeah, guys that are going to go higher.
They may be sexier because they're younger and stuff like that, but I don't like Ellington at all. I don't think he's ever going to stay healthy.
Right.
He was that first year, it was rookie year. He came out of nowhere, kind of, and everyone's like, "Oh, this could be something." Really, this could be something. Mm-hmm. They gave him like, "All right, you're the guy. Year two, you're the man," and he fell on his face. Yeah. I think he averaged like 3-point yards. I mean, granted, his quarterback was Ryan Lindley, so maybe we're gotta give him a fair shake. But yeah, it's not like, depending on who you pass up. If you're sitting here and you're telling me, I passed over, Carlos Hyde or Jonathan Stewart, right. I'd probably tell you. I'd tell you you're probably stupid if you did that. But look at some of the guys that were going. Like,
right, I'd have to check back and see who was there. But I think Ivory was clear cut in my opinion. There might have been a mirror there, and I like him.
Yeah,
but like I said, he's not the starter yet. He probably will be halfway through the year, but I think Ivory gives you consistent touches all year long. And
there's no threat to take his job.
No,
as long as he can stay healthy, he'll continue. And I'm pretty sure he ran for 1,000 yards last year.
He did. If you look at his stats, it isn't so bad. I can look him up for you right now. I mean, he's kind of like a poor man's AP. I mean, he runs hard.
We got a homeless man's.
A homeless man.
A homeless man.
He has similar skill set where he runs hard and he's going to get you. If you look at his yards per carry, even back to New Orleans, he's never ran for less than 4.5 yards per carrier. Now, if I see a running back doing that consistently for 5 years, then what's not to like there? Now,
Google Chris Ivory, just to pull up the stats. He ran for 821 last year, so not exactly 1,000. But the first article I see is it's a report from the Jets that Chris Ivory could see 20 touches a game. There you go.
Right.
You take 20 touches a game. Right. That's starting run back in fantasy.
Right. And I have him as my RB2 behind Lacey. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Now we did receive another tweet at Kyle Walpole. He tweeted. He said there's too much hype on the receivers. He said it's all about running back of the first 2 rounds. And I'm laughing because I couldn't agree any less than this. I mean, back in the old days, you look at the drafts and it was especially when they were color coordinated. Let's say running backs were green or whatever. It was just green the first round and 7 of 10 or 8 of 10 green in the second round. Like that's just what you did.
Right. Yeah. It's
Obviously, like I said, the NFL game has changed, which in turn has made the fantasy game change. So no, I couldn't agree any less with you. I think it's just a stupid opinion. I think it's awful. Not as awful as Teddy Bridgewater being our starting quarterback, of course. But now the days of the running back are over. I'm trying to look at my league now to see if anybody even did that.
See, I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with almost any strategy. It depends where you're drafting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can be okay with running back if you're, say, number 8 and you get C.J. Anderson, and then you come back and get Jeremy Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, the depth of running back is so low.
If you're going to get running backs, like if you're going to go running back, he better be a PPR running back.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, but honestly, the only reason I took the running back in the first round because I was in the top 5, and I felt like I kind of had a gut.
No, that was the right pick. And I'm looking at my draft. Somebody did go running back. Don't ask me why Shady McCoy went 9th.
I think that's a little.
Shady McCoy went 9th. He followed that up with DeMarco Murray. So obviously, this is a Philadelphia-based draft.
Right. I mean, I'm okay with McCoy in the second round. I think he's a little risky because he's somewhat injured right now, and the Bills' offense isn't that great. But he's like I say, he's kind of like a Chris Ivy, where he's going to get touches and he's going to have a chance to put up stats. So we'll see.
Also, one other person did go running back. They went Marshawn at 5 and Jeremy Hill in the second. I like that one much better.
I think that's great. I mean,
that one I'm obviously much happier
at that
with.
point, I look at Jeremy Hill as a first-round pick, and if he's there in the second for you, then you got to go best player available. I mean, take Hill. There's so much depth at receiver. Why not?
Now, my strategy before we get into my team is just it's kind of like a best player available type thing. But just load up on the running backs and receivers. Like I said, just throw things out there. Throw the get the young guy. I mean, in the beginning, get the solid guys. Don't start drafting the sexy rookies early.
Right.
But towards the middle of the rounds, just go for the guys who could potentially break out. I didn't get this guy, but looking at him, he went in the 9th round. Martavis Bryant. He went 3 picks after Mike Wallace went.
Right.
And I would much rather have Martavis Bryant any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, Martavis right now, he's looking at a 4-game suspension, but he was definitely someone I was targeting because I think he has breakout potential. If you look what he did last year opposite Antonio Brown, he's never going to see a double.
Never.
And he has one of the best offenses around him with Bell and Roethlisberger throwing on the ball. So definitely a guy like deep in the draft.
Yeah, like I would say, with Mike Wallace, you know what you're going to get. It's going to be above average at best, whereas Martavis can break out at any moment. And again, if you guys want to chime in, feel free to give us a call. It's 267-563-2893. Call us, text us. Like I said, you can also tweet us. We got a couple tweets on the show at Sports Goombahs on Twitter. Real quick, we're going to take a break, pay a couple of these bills so we can stay on the air, and we'll come right back to you. So stay tuned.
Had damage to your house? Avoid the hassle. Just call Castle Public Adjusters. Get the edge on your insurance company. 215-752-1237. That's 215-752-1237. Or check them out at castlepa.com. Don't settle for less. Get the maximum for your claim. Castle Public Adjusters. 215-752-1237.
Hey, yo, Cassie, what are you doing?
I got plumbing problems here. I can't get the water to go down the drain. What am I going to do?
Call Guaranteed Plumbing, 215-342-7200 for all your plumbing needs. Serving the Philadelphia area and the greater Delaware Valley.
What was that phone number again?
215-342-7200.
Oh, yeah, oh.
All right, and we are back. Thank you very much for sticking to us through those amazing commercials. Again, if you guys want to check in with us, it's 267-563-2893. You're watching the SG Fantasy Football Show. We do have a special guest who just happened to step in the building. It's a rare appearance for him. Cashy from the Monday night. You guys can check us out every me, Cashy, and Brendan every Monday, 9 p.m. sgshow.net right here. Cashy.
Yo, I'm going to step in here. I'm not going to go on the film. I'm not going to go on the
Thank
on
you.
the
I
screen here
appreciate
because
that.
I don't want to step
The
on the
viewers
show
appreciate
here.
that.
Yeah, I understand that. Listen, I drafted a team.
Now you drafted the team.
Well, wait a second. I drafted the team on the highway, and I got half the team in there. Now,
I think it was more like 1 or 2 picks.
no, I got a couple picks in there. It's tough when you're on I-95. You know what I feel about I-95, right? It's by far
We know you don't like it. We're
worst
very
treacherous
aware.
road, but I was on it trying to draft, which is a no-no. Texting, driving at the same time.
Drafting from the
Not just texting and driving, drafting and driving.
Drafting and driving. But you have to understand it. 95 is so backed up, it's like being in a parking lot. You're moving up little by little. It's
true.
like you're handling the high end at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I thought I would get back in time. My draft time changed. Anyway, I couldn't draft the whole team, so I had to let the computer take some of my drafts.
Violation.
But violation, call it was.
Hey.
But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this team. This is the Sports Goombahs team. This is the show.
Don't make me part of
Yeah,
this.
we are. You and the chef were a part of this team. This is going to be the team we play.
Drag me in the queue.
That's right. This has nothing to do with you. This is the team that we're going to play in the league that I'm in.
All right.
Now,
I'll help you fix it.
the wide receivers I got, the running backs they were given to me, C.J. Anderson. Now, that's a good pick.
Yes.
What I can say, and what I'm being told about my draft is very good.
And he was in the first, second. What is this?
This is the first round.
You all right?
It was the first pick. And then I think after that, Antonio Brown came in. I think that was the second pick that I got.
What?
But you got Antonio Brown in the second round.
In the second round.
Well, no, it was a flip. I had the 10th pick.
So you're still there, though, at 10th overall.
Yeah, it's 10th and 11th really in the pick.
We should have gotten that league.
Wow.
That's no good? I thought it was
That's
pretty good.
amazing.
Yeah, right.
You just said how he went 5th or 6th?
I was considering Antonio at number
At
3.
4. No, he went
Right.
4, actually. Yeah.
Right. That's why, that's and then after that, I believe I picked up another running back, Mark Ingram.
Okay.
And that came around. And then
I can't hate. I have Ingram in 2 leagues.
Then I lost control. I lost control of the draft after that. And I got my flex was Julian Edelman.
Okay.
Which, all my players are.
Hey, as long as we're PPR,
starting,
don't talk PPR. It's solid.
Yeah. Eli Manning is my quarterback. Now
Seems like
I
everyone
snagged
has
him
Eli
out
Yeah,
there.
a lot of people. Yeah.
Now I also dropped.
He's trendy.
I picked up Kirk Cousins too.
Well, I don't know why you did that, but all right.
Because I need a quarterback for the. Who knows? We don't know what Kirk Cousins is going to do right now. I don't know.
I do know what he's going to do. I do know he's going to be the quarterback of the Redskins.
That we do know.
And that's not.
Well,
That's a fact.
That's not a good thing.
well, considering I didn't have a backup quarterback, I had to pick somebody who was actually starting the game here.
Okay.
I saw Nick Foles out there. I figured I ain't
I
gonna
think
do
you
it.
might have had some better options out. Maybe like Winston. Maybe
Was Winston there?
or Teddy Bridgewater. I mean,
I wasn't taking Teddy Bridgewater just because I'm not allowed to take Teddy Bridgewater.
So your starter is not good enough to be his backup.
That's correct.
it's completely different.
Then again, this is the same league that Antonio Brown went
This
10th
is a-
overall
This
in.
is a different league.
Well, the usual suspects went first, So yeah, I needed a backup quarterback regardless, and
Mhm.
and then I have to keep him. Like the way this league is going, pretty much. There's something out there.
It's going to be a carousel.
Yeah, it'll be out there. And I took a couple of tight ends. I picked. I took and I really don't know Walker from Tennessee.
Delaney.
Delaney
good.
Walker.
I like
He's a
him.
good. Well,
He's solid.
He's just solid. Yeah,
He gets a
and
lot of targets out there.
I also needed somebody for
By
Eli.
default.
I couldn't get an Eli receiver, so I picked up the
Larry
Giant.
Donnell.
Well, he's New York's tight end.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm assuming.
I got the other guy.
Who the hell is the other tight end for the Giants?
Oh no, I have Larry Darnell.
Yeah,
You're
all
right.
right. Come on. I don't even know your team, and I know your team better than you do.
Yeah, I did get it. That's right. So I got a little bit of a hook up there. And Eli, I think the Giants are going to have a good year this year. Offensively, we'll win and lose games. The defense, I don't know if they can handle anybody, but offensively, he's got weapons. Eli has weapons.
I
And
agree.
if you look at the Giants, every time they have a bad season, a disruptive season, they come back.
Right. When the Coughlin's on the
I don't know.
verge of being fired.
He's on the verge again.
Right.
So
He's been on the verge for like 8 years.
yeah, but he keeps winning Super Bowls when he's just about ready to
Yeah.
get fired.
Right. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games this year, but fantasy wise, I think Eli has a lot of weapons.
Fancy doesn't care.
That's
the best part.
That's the thing about it. Now,
Fancy doesn't care.
I saw what happened at the end of the season last year. Eli had weapons. He was winning football games, which is too late. It happened too late. So you saw the start of what could be this year. Now their defense, they lost players. They're old. Defense is old, and that
For
could be
all
a
I
problem.
care, again, if Eli was my quarterback, I wouldn't care if they lost every game.
Right.
45-35.
I would hope they lost.
Yeah,
every
yeah,
game,
exactly.
actually.
But
I could
how
care
does
less.
Eli get on the field more?
By
the
giving up
defense-
points.
right,
I know.
by the defense being awful. So
Yeah.
he's on. So you got
Trust me, that's the thing. When I've had Peyton Manning in my leagues, in my one dynasty league, year after year. You better score early because once
Right.
they're up 35 or whatever it is, he's not throwing anymore,
Right.
and you're done.
Right.
So that's why I would much rather have, not much, obviously, because I would much rather Peyton, but I'd rather have a quarterback who's on a stinky team just hucking it, get those points. Nothing better than nice little the pigeon points at the end.
Those are the important things when you look at fantasy sports. You don't always look at the player; you look at what they're going against,
right?
And then the situations they're going to be in. Now, I've been in a lot of leagues where it's all points, no head to head. I spent most of my career doing those type of leagues.
Those make more sense.
They do,
but at the same time, there's nothing better than just like, all right, this is who I need to root against. I'm going up against you.
Right.
Let's go.
Here's the thing now. The way the leagues are now that, like you said, with the points league, the way scoring is now, the leagues that I used to be in they weren't even called rotisserie anymore. We're more, there was more fantasy now.
Roto leagues, yeah.
Roto leagues, right. So, what I call rotisserie.
No, that's what it stands for. I'll give you that. You're a historian.
Right. Historian, right. So back in the day, the points were tough because now everybody's getting points.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't have to change the scale the way you do it. The last
You're not getting 9 to 6 games anymore.
Right. The last couple years, I haven't won this. Last 2 years, I haven't won this. Well, one I didn't have Junior as my partner anymore.
Cheater.
So, cheater. Don't worry, you might be a partner.
You like the Belichick of fantasy.
Yeah, that's right.
I
buy the teams and I get guys to run them for me.
Hey,
but I've won in the points leagues. I won a lot. I was good at that. I mean, in the 15 years, I might have won 8 times.
Right.
Okay. Well, you used to do good in the points, but then it's head to head. It's a different story. It's a little different strategy you have to go to because you are fighting another guy in this thing. You're seeing what he has too.
Right. Well, let me tell you something that happened to me last year.
And one last thing, the pickups. You can actually fight a guy. You can go against a guy by picking up players that that he might need in that type. It's a little more
right.
The advantage is there in this type of setup.
Right. I've never played in a straight points league, but you said it makes more sense, and I agree with that because last season I was teamed up with a buddy, and we had the most points in the league, and we were 0-4.
Right.
Now
I love that.
Now this doesn't.
And there's always the one jerk off who's like 9th out of 10 in scoring, and he's like 3-1.
Right.
I was like, oh god.
Right. So you could be the best fantasy drafter ever, but a lot comes into luck when you're going head to head because it's all about matchups. Every week we played a guy who just went on.
I was a prime example of that last year.
What I don't like mostly about it, and it disturbs me, it's the end of the season when you're in the playoffs on games that don't matter. So you got week 17.
Well, that's why a lot of
18.
leagues cut off now. Well, 18. I don't know what football you're watching.
I'm not saying 18.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
but yeah, they my league, at least in all the leagues I've been in, they cut off at 16. Like that is the championship because we had so many things of the Peyton Mannings and the Tom Brady's not playing week 17. Now the team that you just ran all year with, you don't even have in the championship.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Now I used to play in these points league where we would go 8 weeks and then redraft.
I have heard of these.
Right. This way, if you're out of it, at least you don't lose interest. But to me, what I used to say to my crew, and they would never agree with it, I said, look, you got to be just because the guys who finish the second, third to the first, second, and third to last at the bottom, they owe if they don't keep their team moving.
Mm-hmm.
So it's incentive to keep playing to keep yourself out of it. And I said, give some incentive to the last place team. You know what I mean? Give them some, give to the out of 10 teams, give the number 7 team some kind of money, something to keep them into it, so we don't have to redraft.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah,
you can't pay out losers.
It's not you're paying out losers. They're not really a loser. They got to keep playing to get up into that.
Yeah, but if you're in 7th place, you're a loser.
Yeah, but but here's the problem: you redrafted at what is week 9,
not
even week 8 anymore. So now you have 6 games and a couple buys. It's just not interest. Everybody started losing interest in the second draft, especially when the money gets paid out after week 8. And in week 9, in the second half, you wait till next year till everybody sees each other again to get your money. It's a different kind of money scale like that.
Because you put the deadbeats who aren't paying up, obviously.
Well, it was a large league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
now, if you could adjust my camera, please, fine sir.
There you go.
You knocked it out. You got excited when you were talking about Taylor Brown at 11. I would do the same thing. But I was saying about the head-to-head and the points and all that. I'm a victim of that last year. I didn't finish with the most points. I know it wasn't that, but I did. I finished 7th. But I finished tied with a guy who finished 6th. Outscored him, and I beat him twice head-to-head. Of course, it went off division record. Was the old tiebreaker, and yours truly was on the outside looking in.
Yeah, the division record, that's real important.
That'll get you every time. I felt like it was the real NFL. But we did actually we got another tweet. This is in response to the running back. He said when you implement the running back system, you end up with Lynch and Forte on the same team like they did. And again, I would be absolutely fine with Lynch and Forte. So again, it all depends on who you're getting and where. I think the best time to do the running back is the middle of the first round,
right?
Because you're still getting a stud running back like a Lynch, and then you're getting one of the guys who kind of fell a little bit,
Yeah.
like a Forte. So
I think everything.
and like Forte 100 catches last year. So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not high on Forte this year. If you look at his coach last season, he had Tressman. And
Gone.
If you
Yeah.
look at Tressman over the last 5 seasons, all his running backs has averaged 100 receptions going back to college.
back to college, yeah.
And that's why I'm so high on Justin Forsett this year because
Dragon mentioned this exact thing.
Yeah, because Tressman is now in Baltimore,
Mhm.
and that's why I love Forsett in PPR. But I mean, it all depends where you're drafting. It's so hard to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, if you're drafting number 1, your strategy is completely different than if you're drafting number 10, 11.
And just 12. Like with me this year, I was on the snake, so I was 10, 11. If I go running back, I know I'm not going to get a snake. There's not, by the time it comes back to me, the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, I'm going to be out of luck.
Right.
When it comes to receivers, well, which I mean, I'll get to my team real quick just to throw it out there again. Like I said, I drafted number 10, so I was on the snake 10 team league. Came out of the gate with Des Bryant, and on the snake I went Des Bryant and Gronk.
Des Gronk back to back.
Des and Gronk back to back. So I went
PPR.
It's of course PPR. I would never go Sans running back without a PPR. So I went Des and Gronk. In the first and second, I came back. I had to make up the ground, get my running back. So I went Mark Ingram, like Cashy had. I'm a big fan of him, and also Lamar Miller.
Ingram, I think he's going to have a pretty good year. I don't know how good of a year, but I like him. And Lamar Miller, I think a lot of people like him this year. I think he could do great.
There's a lot of reasons like the Dolphins, and he's one of the reasons.
Yeah, I think that's
the guys who went. And again, I had to make this decision in my head because Justin Forsett was there, and I'm thinking, yes, the system's good, and he had a great year. But I don't trust guys who had the 1 year wonder. And it's one thing if you're a rookie and you have a great year, but when you're that one year wonder out of left field, like you just toiled as a role player for 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
I'm running down the teams that on my thing, and I'm looking here what's available. I had the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay, that was computer picked for me.
Okay.
What, defense?
Defense, yeah.
You're going to talk to me about defense. I'm like the Iverson when it comes to defense. We're talking about defenses?
Well, yeah, interceptions, sacks, the whole thing. They count, right? I'm looking at what's available out there, and I can't. The Patriots and the Packers are available out there. Now, why are the Packers sitting out? Why didn't my league take the Packers?
Well, you only got
for
10,
defense.
You only got 10 guys. The Packers weren't even taken in my league, and we have 12. I think they're one of the best available defenses.
Yeah.
But I think defense comes down to a lot of matchups sometimes. Like I like swinging them in and out.
You get something for the win too, and you get
some for the win. That's interesting.
There's points for the win.
I never heard about that before. For the Packers defense, again, I made my opinions. I made my opinions strong on defenses. Matchup, go week to week. Granted, the Packers are playing the Bears week 1.
Cowboys are there too.
The Bears stink.
They're out there too. Now, I mean, Dallas is always told they're going to be fighting for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Dallas plays the Giants who could put up points.
Yeah.
It's all about the matchups in week 1, which is why I think in my league, I think I win Minnesota for my defense.
I move from team to team when it comes.
Yeah, I always do that.
We got to look and see. I mean, Miami, I didn't even look to see it. That was one of the
because Minnesota plays San Francisco, who knows who's lining up there. So that's why I went that for defense.
Dolphins are supposed to be a decent team this year.
Yeah.
On paper.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's bad. I mean,
no. I mean, yeah.
I don't know them for scoring, though.
The best defense compared to the 10th best defense is probably an extra point a week. Let's be honest.
If you actually look back last year, everyone wants to take Seattle in the 8th, 9th round.
Which we all agree, yes, Seattle is the best defense. And they still are.
They are.
But how many people were drafting the Lions defense was always a joke. Last year, they were the number 1 against the run.
Yeah.
Arizona, you wouldn't think of before, and now Arizona is one of the top defenses.
Right. So there's defenses that emerge over a course of a year that you can pick up. And if you look at Seattle last year, I think they finished 6th in fantasy. Now, if you're taking them so high
over actual players who can really help you elsewhere,
and they're not even finishing first. I mean, that's just I don't agree with that.
No, I never agree with the defense. It's just straight week by week, matchup by matchup. If you're playing the Jags, you're playing the Redskins, you're playing the Raiders.
The Redskins. Miami's playing the Redskins in Washington.
There you go. You hold them.
Yeah.
Hold them for week 1.
That's why it was picked.
Yeah.
Right. So we're at the 4th round of your pick. Real quick, you said Forsett was there when you took Lamar Miller.
Yes,
and
he was. But the guys who just he showed up out of nowhere, but it wasn't like he showed up out of nowhere with a pedigree. That's like Mark Ingram did kind of show up out of nowhere, but we knew who he was from college.
Right. He finally turned it on.
Yeah, he finally turned it on. Forsett, it wasn't like, okay, but I've been waiting for Forsett for 4 years to turn this on. So I don't know if I can trust him again, although at the same time, look at a guy like CJ Anderson.
Right.
I don't think anyone's out there saying, man, I really can't trust CJ Anderson. And he came out of literally nowhere. He was undrafted, a nobody. So, I mean,
I'm okay with every pick so far.
Yeah.
I would have took Forsett because I'm high on him. I think he's
Mhm.
great PPR, but I like your pick so far.
And keep in mind, in the starting the fourth round, Rodgers was still there too. I passed on Rodgers.
Wow, he fell pretty far.
Yeah. In hindsight, I kind of wish I didn't. Although, I mean, the guy I ended up with, you'll hear it next. Fifth in the snake 5-6. I went with Devontae Adams, Peyton Manning.
Okay. I love Devontae Adams this
As
year,
do I.
especially since Nelson's down. I think he's probably the number one sleeper. I mean, him and Cooks, and
Mhm.
I mean, I guess you want to tie them together somewhat, but I think he's a great pick.
I mean, the guys that were going, again, like I said with Peyton, I still feel like he's elite, so that's why I still had him as one of my top guys when we had our rankings.
Who was available when you took Payne? What's the other quarterbacks?
Quarterbacks like pretty much everybody. I mean, only ones off the board were Wilson, Rodgers, and Luck. So he was the fourth quarterback off the board. But it was the sixth round, and I mean, I'll tell you the next five guys that went off the board after him were Golden Tate, Amir Abdullah, Brandon Marshall, Joseph Randall, Darren Sproles. I would rather have Manning. I'd rather have that elite quarterback than these middling guys.
Okay, I would have went personally. I'd go Roethlisberger there only because I. Feel
if I was going to go Roethlisberger, I would have held off because he
right. See, I think you would have maybe grabbed more value if you would have took somebody like Amir or Tate and then held off and grabbed Roethlisberger in the next round or however you think you could have waited for him.
Yeah, I mean, Roethlisberger eventually did go in the seventh before I would have gotten my pick, so I wouldn't have got him. But who knows? Maybe that person would have picked Manning instead.
Right. And
so
I only say that because I think Manning's he's almost 4 years old. His neck. I mean, and if you look at Roethlisberger,
until he's not playing football, I'm going to keep drafting Peyton. I do it every year. I have him at least one team.
What round did you take him?
7th or 6th.
Manning in the 6th?
Yeah, the first pick of the 6th.
I think Teddy Bridgewater could have more fantasy points than Peyton Manning this year.
I'm putting some money on that one.
Let's reevaluate.
Yeah, we'll reevaluate that one. You can reevaluate your life
only
after
way
that
if
one.
he gets clipped. That's the
only way is if he stops playing football. If he chooses to stop playing football.
Right.
So after that, what would I come with here? Pull up my team.
I have on my bench. I have Vincent Jackson. He's aging a little bit.
He's a 1,000-yard guy.
Yeah.
He catches a lot of touchdowns actually.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 6'5". He should.
Right.
Again, but with Mariota being his quarterback, it all depends. Do you like the situation?
Winston.
Winston. Right. The rookie.
Rookie
rookie.
I don't like Winston. I'm not a Winston fan.
Fantasy-wise, I like Winston better than Mariota.
I do.
Yeah, compared to two of them,
he has weapons. I mean, he has Evans and he has Jackson, Vincent Jackson, and he has Doug Martin coming out of the backfield. Which
so I like as an actual quarterback, I do like Mariota better.
Right.
In fantasy, I do like Winston better.
I think he'll put up yards. I think he'll put up touchdowns. But
You got two great receivers.
I think he'll turn the ball over.
I think both guys are projects.
Of course, they're projects.
They're not step in there and play NFL.
I mean, between Evans and Jackson and the tight ends, Ferry and Jenkins,
you're gonna get points.
They're all 6'5". Like, just throw the ball in the air. Yeah, I could do it. I could throw 15 touchdowns for
Jackson. He's going up against Tennessee this week. Now, Tennessee's a decent defense.
I don't know if they really are.
No, didn't they get towards the end of the last year? They went there. They improved.
I mean, they ended up with the top 5 picks, so they weren't that great.
Well, they were bad. I couldn't score.
Yeah, then again, the only problem is they're still just as bad. So I would avoid any Titan. I mean, even their starting running back, if it's Sankey, I don't even know. We're going like
I had Sankey
14th round.
That's what I was trying to tell you. Last that was the name.
I think both their running backs were undrafted in my league.
The Cobb and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think Sankey might have gone at the second to last round, but Cobb's still out there.
Yeah.
Again, even if he is the starting running back, of course, if you're the starting running back, it's kind of like closers in fantasy baseball. Just because that's your job, you're going to get picked up.
Right.
But I don't want any Titans running back.
Okay, so after Manning, what happened after that?
I went. He kept falling, and he's not. He's love him or hate him. I went to Sean Jackson in the 7th.
Terrible.
That's not terrible.
I hate it.
That's not terrible.
Well,
although I did pick him over Nelson Aguilar.
How could you do that? How could you pick Deshaun Jackson when he gets about? He averages like what? How much does he have? Like 8 points a game? I mean,
no, he doesn't have. He gets 1,000. He had like 1,100, 1,200 yards last year.
I can't take him.
I know.
He's gonna get 0 points or he's gonna get 20 points.
I said before he's going to give you 5 or he's going to give you 20.
Right.
Because if he doesn't catch a deep touchdown, he's going to have 1 or 2 catches.
And he's just injury prone at this point. I feel like I can't.
He's injury prone when he's running into blocking sleds.
Who would you rather have you thrown your receiver the ball? Kirk Cousins or Sam Bradford?
Yeah, I know. Which offensive system would I rather have? Of
Sam
course,
Bradford, who is essentially Chip Kelly in the Eagles' offense.
Yeah, I mean, I may end up regretting this one. I may end up regretting this one.
That's okay.
But yeah, I mean, I had him too high, and I don't know. I mean, actually looking back, I probably shouldn't have done
it. It was terrible
because I mean, I don't know. And to start off the 8th round, I did go Todd Gurley. I thought it was good value for Todd Gurley in the 8th round.
I don't know. I haven't thought about Todd Gurley because I actually got auto drafted him last year in the 3rd round.
Todd Gurley's a rookie, so you did not get drafted.
Oh, I'm thinking about somebody. I'm talking about the Vikings ex-running back. Who was that?
I don't know the next one. I know Adrian Peterson.
That's how bad the backup to AP.
No, there's no backup to AP.
Yeah, that's how bad that was. So
McKinnon and
what team is Gurley on?
Gurley just started for the Rams.
What about 7th man?
1st round pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he tore his ACL. I'm hoping he bounces back.
That's a good.
Yeah, for the value pick, I mean, the guys going around him, the running backs going after him, Shane Vereen, Ryan Matthews,
right,
backups.
You're getting pretty slim picking.
Yeah, at that point. So I followed that up in the 9th. The guy I think is still the starter. I don't know, Isaiah Crowell, running back for the Cleveland. 10, it was a guy I didn't even want at all, but guys going around him just weren't good. I went with Eric Decker. From what I hear, the Jets' offense is supposed to be better, and I'm hoping without. I'm hoping losing Geno actually helps.
I think it does.
And everything I was reading, they had Eric Decker. They had good things to say about him.
Right. I don't think he's a bad pick. I think he's.
You got something to chime in with?
Safe.
You got that? I hate Eric Decker.
No, I'm looking at my roster here, and I'm saying the teams they're playing this week. They got the opponents still the preseason game on there.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
No, they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. But
they should. I'm looking at this. Like, wait a minute. That's not.
It doesn't mean anything. Why would they do that?
Yeah. Why did they put that on there? Like they have
putting their stats up.
New England. Yeah, New England playing Pittsburgh this weekend, and that's not true. They don't open up in Pittsburgh.
No, that's the week one.
I'm saying, but on the fantasy league here, they shouldn't have that stuff up on here. That should be. That's not even part of.
No,
they
would put your week 1 game up.
They didn't. They don't. They have the first preseason games are still up on here.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah, it's that ESPN crap.
Yeah, it's ESPN for you.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at my lineup here. I'm like, this is gold right now. And then wait a minute, this is preseason teams that they're playing.
My 11th round pick, you got to be a fan of, and we have a caller who calls in every Monday. He's gonna like this one too. Got Tom Brady.
Wow.
Tom Brady in the 11th.
Imagine that.
Tom Brady in the 11th.
That's that made me not want to get Peyton. I mean, like when I saw him still there, I'm like, can I be that guy who drafting his backup already? But I'm like, he's too good to not get.
Hey, I think
where if something does happen to Manning and his neck falls off.
You have Manning and Brady.
I got Manning and Brady.
Wow.
I don't know how they're going to coexist.
Could you imagine that like 10 years ago? That would
I know.
happen, right?
I would have been 1st and 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
I
like Brady. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance.
I think he's going to come back pissed off.
On week 5, you can make some deals.
I think he's going to be pissed. Nah, nobody trades for quarterbacks. I'm not that guy who goes, oh, trade bait. Nobody ever
trading for a quarterback in my league.
Yeah, you want Tom Brady? I'll trade from league to league.
Yeah, we'll flip.
Can we do that?
Yeah, I'll take him.
Can we do inter-league trades?
I lose somebody, you're going to get a phone call from, you know what I mean? In your league. You got both of them after week 4.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how can you not?
I'm praying for a serious injury.
Well, you know you're going to
not for those two.
You can pick and choose your quarterback depending on who they're playing and how Manning's playing.
Yeah, once he comes back, yeah. 12th, I went Trey Mason, who's just the backup. He's the handcuff to Gurley, the rookie, in case he's not ready yet. 13th, I went Cody Latimer. I've mentioned him last week's show. I'm a big fan of him. He's Peyton Manning's new slot guy. So I'm a fan of Latimer. Although they say he's going to play outside and Sanders will stay in the slot. 14th, I went Ty Montgomery, who no one heard of 7 days ago. But due to injuries, he's the new number 3 in Green Bay.
Okay.
So if Rodgers throwing any footballs, I went to. So of course, naturally, I went defense or kicker defense at the end. I also went Miami defense. I didn't realize it till now. But I went Justin Tucker, Miami defense. Please tell me on your team you at least went defense kicker the last 2 picks.
They were the very last 2 picks.
There we go.
Yeah.
You saved yourself there.
See, our strategies are similar. I just took it a little too extreme with my quarterbacks.
You did.
And
you really held off on the.
I got caught. I wanted Tannehill. I think Tannehill was going to be a great quarterback this year, and somebody took him as their backup before I could get him.
Yeah, we do just get another tweet here. Again, this is from at Stoney096. He said 10-man league. He went Lacey, Cobb, Lamar Miller, Cooks, Big Ben. He said then he was torn between Macklin and Landry. He went Macklin. What would we have done? First of all, for the team itself, I like it a lot. Lacey in the first, Cobb in the second, Miller. I mean, you have Lacey, you have Cobb, I had Miller, you have Cooks, right, and we all like Big Ben. So I think we like all the picks.
I think that's a stud team. I mean, at that point, you're taking Macklin and Landry. I would go Macklin. I
personally would go Landry, but that's. I mean, at that point, it could be either one. I mean, Kansas City's passing won't be as bad as it was last year. It's not possible. Right. They were historically bad, and they have now a great receiver. Landry was a rookie who really stepped up that second half of the year. It all depends on your preference, really.
Yeah, it's a toss-up.
I mean, it depends if you're a fan of local, you're probably a Macklin fan.
Yeah.
And you're probably not a Reed fan, but again, that's a toss-up. I would have went Landry. You said you would have went Macklin. Yeah. You really can't go wrong with either one. I think
Good point
Macklin
for him.
is actually. I know Macklin actually hates fantasy football, as he came out and
Yeah, I
heard
he
that.
said something about that.
He doesn't care at all about fantasy football. But I think Macklin's actually being underrated because he went to Kansas City and I was like, oh, no touchdowns, blah, blah, blah.
Well, if you see, he's actually caught 2 or 3 touchdowns in the preseason.
I
know everybody that hates the Eagles right now is saying preseason doesn't matter, but honestly, I think it means a little bit more than nothing.
Like I always say, when it comes to preseason, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but wouldn't you rather do good?
Of course,
like it does. Yeah, like
I mean, what
would you rather Macklin had 2 touchdowns this preseason or had 1 catch for 5 yards?
Of course,
you'd rather him do better.
Yeah.
So don't say it doesn't matter. It's still, I mean, because if he wasn't doing good, people would say he only has 1 catch for 5 yards, right?
Exactly. So either way,
they're gonna use it against you either way. Whether it doesn't matter, the same thing with the cockroach Cowboys fans, talking about the Eagles. The preseason.
No good can come out from an Andy Reid team. I mean,
you got Andy Reid. You can't. I don't want to get an Andy Reid.
It's only an hour show.
I don't remember any monster.
If you have an hour-long Andy Reid special, we could.
Yeah, well, we used to back in the day.
But yeah, I mean that's my team. And again, he says I like that team a lot. Especially for whether it's 10 team. If I was an 8-team league, I'd probably tell you I still like it.
It's a great team. I think Big Ben is going to be easily top 3 quarterback.
I don't know about easily, but I could see it. If he was top 3, I wouldn't be surprised.
He's going to be on the field a lot. That defense.
Yeah, their defense.
You're saying his defense is poor?
Yeah, Pittsburgh is sure.
They'll build it up. Come on, it's the Steelers.
I know, but it's going to take them a year. They're going to have to. This is not going to be one.
They got a lot of young guys that are unproven, and I think that they're going to be trailing in some games.
The vets are gone. The vets are gone from that team.
If you look at their schedule, it's the toughest schedule in the league. So they're not going to be blowing anybody out.
Miami has the easiest schedule.
They should.
Yeah, they're ranked. They got a lot of San Diego, Jacksonville.
That's good for Tannehill and Miller owners.
Buffalo a couple times.
And Landry owners.
Yeah, Landry. Hey, maybe you should. I'd change it. Actually, go Landry.
There you go. See, I swayed you.
You did.
With the strength of schedule.
That's all it took. That's how close it was.
Again, before we sign off, guys, if you guys want to chime in real quick at the end, that it's 267-563-2893. Have any last minute questions or anything? Again, always feel free to tweet us at Sports Goombahs. You can follow us all the time. We're putting up good picks. Me and Cash do that on the Monday show. And again, you can check out the Monday show every Monday right here, sgshow.com or sgshow.net. Gotta learn that one. Mondays at 9. That's all we got for you today. How'd you have?
Hey man, I'm glad you had me here.
How do you feel about your team now after me critiquing it?
I feel like
better or worse?
I feel horrible about my team.
All right, there we go. I'm glad I just ruined your morale, but guys, same time next week, 8 p.m. Wednesday, we're gonna come do it. See if we're finally gonna do a real show here. The week 1 power rankings, we'll do it real quickly. You get quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends, everything you need to know. We're gonna tell you who to start, who to sit next Monday. Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
We're gonna do that next Wednesday.
Yeah. We're also gonna you want to do the power rankings after the show? I thought we'd do it next Thursday.
No, we're doing it next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday night after this show.
I don't know what you're talking about. We'll talk about that off the air, but next Wednesday, 8 o'clock.
Oh, no, right? The Thursday show next week. We do the over and unders.
We do have we do have a Thursday show.
Yeah.
So tune in for more information about that. But
just check the sportsgoombahs.com, and we have all our shows listed on there. Everything that's going down. We got a schedule.
You do. A little rundown, little program guide.
It's the Goombah Network.
So thanks for tuning in. Pat, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Come back anytime.